Hello, welcome back to another video of Laurel and Hardy memorabilia and Chaplin. In this video I've got a collection of 5 original photos from the mid-1930s, and I think the other one's from the mid-1940s. So these photos, the subjects on them are related to their wives and the real life women trouble they had. Which also goes to show how that was brought through into their films, into the wives' characters in the films, so you can relate to the real life problems they had as well. So this first one, this is original still of Oliver Hardy. This is in court, and you can clearly see his hands touching his head there, thinking, my God, what have I got myself into? Or his famous line, another fine mess. But he's clearly looking at the documents that he's got in his hands there, and all the problems that he's got. But on the back you've got the original typed information from this photograph, and if I can read it clearly, it says here, this photo shows Oliver Hardy of the comedy team Laurel and Hardy on the witness stand in Los Angeles, California court, where he was called to show cause why he shouldn't pay his wife, Mrs. Myrtle Lee Hardy, $2,500 a month, temporary or Monty pending trial of her separate inheritance suite for permanent allowance of $2,500 a month. So there we have money problems. And she's obviously causing him trouble, why he shouldn't be paying her $2,500 a month. So this is dated the 11th, 1836. So it's an original photograph from 1936. And then moving on from that, I have got this one here. This is another original letter of Stan Laurel. Again, this is in court. Another rare photo of him. So again, it's one I've not come across before. So nice rare shot of him in court, and again you've got the typed information on the back of this photograph, and it clearly says on the back here, Stan Laurel, Linnea divorced, which doesn't surprise any Laurel and Hardy fan. It's got here Los Angeles, California. Above, Stan Laurel and sad-faced comedian of the hurly-burly team of Laurel and Hardy is pictured on stand as he told of his martial vows. Laurel was pictured as a patient, long-suffering husband who tried and failed to get his temptatious Russian wife Elenia to settle down and behave herself. Elenia was not in court. I'm not sure I've pronounced the wife's names correctly, but I'll try my best. Elenia was not in court. The actor was granted a divorce, ending the third marriage in his hectic career. So again, an interesting piece of information there, and that's dated 5th, 1739, so that's 1939. So it just shows you the ongoing, long-suffering problems of Laurel and Hardy in their real lives. This one here, an original photograph, and that is, as I read the information again on the back of this one, it says clearly Stan Laurel and bride, and it says here, of the team Laurel and Hardy announce he and Mrs. Ruth Rogers, Los Angeles widow, were married at Angus Carlita, Mexico recently, but would not live. It says here, but would not live together in California until his divorce from Mrs. Lois Laurel, which is also the mother of Lois, who recently passed. Became final next October 11th. That time they would go through a second ceremony in California, Laurel said. So again, just another piece of information there that he was on his way to marry Ruth Rogers in Mexico. So nice information there. And then on the same wife, which is again another original photograph of Ruth Rogers there, not looking so happy. She's happy there, going to Mexico to marry. In here, this is in court, where it's all fallen through. And then again on the back, you've got the statement that's typed clearly on the back, and it says, this is from the 10th 23rd 1936, Los Angeles. Wife accused Stan Laurel. Los Angeles, October 23rd. Stan Laurel was accused by his wife in an affidavit today with having had relations with a certain woman since her suit was filed for $1,235 a month, separate maintenance. The wife, Virginia, is shown in court today as she heard the comedian testify she was now receiving $172 a month under a meeting he had bought for her. He said he earned about $200,000 a year. So yes, that's interesting. And that is dated, that's 1936. So 1 minute they're happy going to Mexico, and the next she accuses him of having an affair, and then she's trying to get more money out of him. So yeah, it's interesting bit of history there on the wives. I always find it very confusing to learn a lot on their wives, because there's so many different sort of problems they had along the way with each one, and then Stan remarried the same one. It just goes on and on. And then slightly different subject. This is another original photograph I have. This is of Laurel and Hardy together. They're slightly older in this shot, and this is the 19th for the 2nd, 1947. And again, you've got typed information on the back of this photograph, and it says clearly, Laurel and Hardy, famous film comedians who are now in England, visited the Ministry of Food Kitchens in Portman Court, London, where they saw food dishes being prepared and inspected a week's ration, a similar amount of food which they will get during their stay. The famous pair are to appear on the stage next week in Newcastle, and later in Birmingham and London. Picture shows Stan Laurel seems rather perplexed at the week's ration, while Oliver Hardy cannot make up his mind how he will fare. So really nice photograph, rare photograph that's not seen that often. So again, to have the original information on the back of that. So that's one good thing about finding these original photographs is to learn about the story behind it. So it really does help when you have the original typed information on the back. So there it is. So that's it for these few photographs I have. There may be some more, so I'll try and look out for those soon. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, and see you next time. Bye.